Let's go. Let's go. All right. So we are officially live. Okay. So oh man, how do I fix this? I'm trying to fix this on. So sorry y'all. I know YouTube, y'all are gonna be tuning in and watching this, but give me a second. I'm trying to figure out how to get this off of here. I don't know what the heck I did. Oh my gosh. What did I do? There we go. Okay. So I'm supposed to be sharing my, hold on. Let me do this because I'm supposed to be sharing my, there it is. All right, let's go. So we're here. Okay, so I got some people that's coming in. Hold on one second. Give me a second. All right. Sorry, y'all. I'm having some technical difficulties today, but you know what? We here. We are going to keep it going. So thank you to everyone who has decided to tune in today. I appreciate you. Thank you for signing up. Thank you for jumping on Zoom. Thank you for coming on YouTube. For those of you coming onto YouTube, okay? I appreciate y'all. So tonight we're going to talk about how we can ultimately overcome some of these challenging circumstances that we are all faced with as United States Americans, but also just as human beings, being part of this world. All right. So, how can we overcome the stuff that is going on, but ultimately end up thriving in today's economy? Now, some of these things will pertain to people outside of the United States, and then there's going to be things specifically tailored to the United States. So, let's get into it. I'm going to talk about, for those of you that have missed any of my information before, I want to talk about why right now it feels a bit different or feels a bit more challenging. So some of us grew up in an era where these things were building up. You know, we got our elders out there who have lived through the depression and all of this stuff and have been able to come out on the other side. So there's some lessons that we can take from the past and the present so that way our future can look a little bit better. Okay. But this moment right now, it feels a bit different because, of course, we have a lot of national debt here in the United States. Inflation is actually down compared to May. It's 3.5 now, as of June of 2026, whereas May it was 4.2. So it went down a bit, okay? But inflation is inflation. I know that's not a word, but oh well, I made it up today. All right, we still have updates on the trade and tariff policy that just was released not too long ago. We are still in this whole space of political polarization. When I say it's some, I could go on for quite some time, but I'm not going to do that on this particular webinar. All right. Just know that it would be really nice if at some season or some quarter or 1 year where the people who are elected could do what the people that have elected them to do. That would be really nice. Stick to the task at hand, okay? Instead of this extra unnecessary things. But anyway, so another reason why it may feel different because we are those of us that are adults, especially for I'll say my Gen Xers and millennials, like we didn't have to deal with as much technology, as the Gen Zers today have to, and they are, adults at this time. We didn't have to deal with as much, technology. We had it especially for us as millennials. We had it. We were growing up in that digital age, but it wasn't as, broad as it is now and as adopted and pretty much like a necessity to streamline things. And so this is why we see that AI workforce disruption happening. People are losing their jobs. I just looked at it today because I wanted a more accurate number. And as of June, okay, in the last day of June 2026, there have been over 100,000 job cuts here in the United States. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Okay. We know, those of us that are in the crypto space, we know that crypto regulation is still evolving. There's been a whole lot of chatter about the Clarity Act. I'm not going to get into that. Okay. I'm not going to get into that tonight. Ricky, we're not talking about Bitcoin XRP tonight. Okay. And then also the Iran war, which is still going on. So listen, what I want to tell y'all, you read it, we either with me or just listen to me. There, all of this is noise. It's a lot of stuff. And if you are not careful, you could allow the noise to overtake you. What we want to do is find the signal so that way we can move accordingly. So we can do like our elders did, overcome those challenging economic times, those chaotic economic times. Okay. So for those of you that are new to me, this is your first time tuning in on YouTube, because this is being recorded on YouTube. And for my people who have joined on the webinar, maybe you were told about me by someone else. Maybe they shared the link with you. I'm not sure, but welcome. Thank you so very much for tuning in. My name is Leona Clark. I am the founder and CEO of Prosperity Calls, which is the channel that you'll be tuning into on YouTube. I am a wife. I am a mom. I am a veteran. I did 20 years in the Army. Actually, me and my husband are creeping up. We getting close to 20 years, y'all. So we're almost on the other side of the 15. So we're getting closer to 20 years of marriage than, anything else. And so in that time of being in the military, in this time of me being a wife and a mom, I've learned a lot about paying attention to what people need. They may not say exactly what it is they need, but they have a way of circling around what it is they need and want. Okay. And so that led me to become an entrepreneur, because as I was learning things in the finance space, I realized in listening to people, they weren't necessarily saying they don't know anything about finances, but the way that they handle their money showed that they need some help with understanding how to best leverage what they have at their disposal, right? So this is why in 2020, Prosperity Calls came along after, many years of messing up, growing up in the projects and not knowing anything about money. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I knew how to pay bills. That was the one thing that I learned that my grandma really taught me, was to make sure that I paid my bills on time. My grandma was definitely not one of those people that was like, "Oh, wait until later." No, when you get the money and it's due, pay that. And then whatever you have left, you do what you want to do with it. That's pretty much the message I got growing up. And so when I joined the Army at 17, I knew how to pay bills, but I didn't understand it. Saving, definitely did not understand investing. That didn't even cross my mind. And so in 2020, like I said, getting introduced to trading and crypto investing and all of these things, and me starting out investing in the stock market by studying Warren Buffett, hearing these people talk about certain things and the lack of financial literacy that they were faced with, that's what prompted me to become an entrepreneur and share from 2020 to 2026 so far. So I want to be clear on something as we go into this particular webinar, y'all. I am not a licensed financial advisor at this time, okay? We're working on it, but it's not here yet, all right? This presentation is going to be for educational purposes only. I highly suggest that you make sure when you decide that there are some things you want to implement in your life, you consult with a licensed professional if you can, before you make any financial decisions, okay? I want you to make sure that you are covered and protected. Now, let's talk about something, because sometimes we have goals and things that we want to accomplish in life, right? So there's this domino effect. For those of you that know about it, you've probably seen it. They have videos on it and all of this study and things of that nature, right? But I want to say something. Every financial goal you have shares one thing in common, all right? It's going to succeed or stall based on sequence, not your effort. Okay? So if you skip a step, then that whole structure is going to be wobbling. So what we want to do is focus on getting the order right when we want to fix our money situations. We want to build wealth. We want to be able to have a bit of a buffer, either on hand in our hands or in our bank accounts, right? When we get that order right, when we start practicing that, then everything else gets a bit easier. Okay. So I want to make sure that we move forward with talking about something that as an individual, when we are moving and building and doing things, when we want to make sure that we build our wealth, sometimes we have a tendency to focus on the things that we can't control. Okay. And this causes unnecessary stress because we're focusing on the things that we can't control. I have some examples up here so that way you can see it, right? But what are some things that you feel like, I know I can't control it, but I focused on? I want you to type it in the chat for me right now. Type it in the chat for me. For those of you on YouTube, type it in the chat for me. What are some things that you have focused too much of your energy on, too much of your time on, and it has hindered you from getting where you want to be financially, right? So here goes some of them. As you all are typing them in the chat, I got you. But here's some of them, right? Worried about the tariffs, the decisions on the tariffs. Like, I understand it is going to impact everybody from businesses on to the consumers. I understand that, but we can't control that. Okay. The Federal Reserve, what they decide as far as the rate policy goes, we can't control that. Okay. Election outcomes. Only thing we can do is what? Do our studying and then go out and vote. That's it. That's the part we can control. How everything plays out, we can't control that. Insider trading and all that, we can't control that. When the Clarity Act passed, I get asked this every time I do the Crypto 101. Well, when do you think the Clarity Act is going to pass? I don't work in Congress. I'm not God. I can't give that answer. Okay? I can only focus on what I can control. When the war ends, we can't control it. None of these things we can control. So in order for us to get more financially mature, we need to start focusing on what we can control. We need to narrow our battlefield. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Because this is, for us, being able to control these things, this is going to help us to overcome those financial hurdles that a lot of Americans and just people in general are experiencing today. So what I want you to do is just pick one of these, okay? And I want you to act on it for the rest of this week going into next week. If what you want to work on out of the things that you control, if it's not on this screen, pick that and then run it, okay? So building or creating your I Got It fund. Y'all know I don't like the word emergency. It just makes me feel some type of way. And I don't like to feel some type of way when I talk about money. I like to feel good when I talk about money. So I call it my I Got It fund. All right. Putting money into that, even if it's $20. Who cares what the amount is? The point is that you are starting and you're going to be consistent, right? This is something that we can control. The amount of debt we have, how we pay it off, how much we are acquiring. If we want to acquire some debt in this season, that is what we can control. Okay. Skill development, learning new things. So that way, ultimately, we can make more money because we've learned this new skill, right? And we've become proficient in this new skill. Okay. So skill development, that's something we can control. Assets, the amount that we have, the amount that we are passing on, all of that, we can control that. Our education level, we can control that. The type of information we consume and the amount of that information we control that. These are the things that we can control. And when I'm telling you, when I say focus on the things that you can control, it helps you to get your power back. One little step at a time, one little act at a time. It doesn't have to be anything massive. It doesn't have to be anything big. One little thing at a time. The more we do that, focus on this, got it. Focus on this, got it. When I finish this, now I'm focusing on this. When we do that one step at a time, we are now getting our power back. Okay? So there are 3 myths that I found keep people stuck. Now, are there more? Absolutely. All right. But this is when I am having conversations with people, these are the main 3 things that I hear over, over, and over again. And to me, it's fascinating because we're in 2026 and we have these nice, pretty smartphones and we have all this information at our fingertips. But for whatever reason, hold on, y'all. My dog done knocked over my husband's stuff. Hey, stop that. Stop. Okay, I can't get it. So, but these are 3 things that I see keep people stuck. Okay, like I said, I hear them so often. So number one of the false beliefs I would say is you need a lot of money to start investing. Y'all, that couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, depending on what you're investing in, you can start with as little as $5. Okay. You can start with as little as $5, depending on what you're investing in. And the way that you can overcome the financial hurdles of today, okay, you can actually open up an account today. If you're going to invest in the stock market, open up a brokerage account with Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, whoever, okay? And then set it up to deposit the minimum amount you possibly can this week. Get it done before Friday because the stock market closes, right? Get it done before Friday. I didn't say buy anything. I said set it up, set up your account, and then send the minimum amount you can send this week before Friday. So that way the money is already what? In the account. So when you have done your research on whatever ETF or company you're going to invest in, index fund, whatever you're going to invest in, guess what? You have some money already there. And when you decide I'm buying it, it's at the price that I want to buy it. Boom. Now you can do what? Activate. You can go ahead and execute. Okay. That applies to the cryptocurrency market as well. You can always just deposit money into your crypto exchange of choice, depending on which ones you're using. You can have the money there, or you can say, hey, I'm going to buy this amount in dollars of Bitcoin every single week, every other week, once a month, whatever. Okay. You can do that too. But the point is, the dollar amount doesn't matter. You do not have to have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, let alone millions of dollars to start investing. Okay. False belief number 2. Crypto, investing in the cryptocurrency in the stock market is going to fix all of your financial problems. I just need to get my money to work for me. I just need to invest in this company. SpaceX has IPO, and they said that SpaceX is going to make so many millionaires. So I'm going to put my money into SpaceX. Meanwhile, I am living paycheck to paycheck right now. Meanwhile, I do not understand my cash flow because I'm not properly tracking my income as well as my monthly expenses and variable expenses and unnecessary spending that I may be doing at this time. Okay? Here's a bit of truth. When we invest, it's going to amplify our habits, whatever habits we have. There are going to be some people that say, oh, no, that's not. I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, here's how that looks. Okay? If you are an impulsive spender, if you are a person who has a habit of not tracking their spending, meaning you don't have a budget, you don't believe in budgets and all of these things, which, hey, if it's working for you, then keep running it. But more than likely, People who are impulsive spenders, um, are into the buy now, pay laters really heavy right now. Don't track their expenses, don't believe in budgeting, and believe in I'm going to live for the moment. I only got one life and I'm going to live that life. I'm telling you now, what will happen, because it happens over and over and over again. What will happen is, even if you see some gains within that asset that you invest in, because you have the habit of impulsively spending, you do not track your expenses, you're living for the moment. More than likely, you're going to sell those assets the moment that you see some gains, because you want to celebrate and you want to buy this, that, and the third, and you're going into debt to buy these things. And now you have to sell your assets to be able to cover that debt that you have accumulated, or the debt that you're about to accumulate, because you sold those assets and you want to have some of the money, but you don't have all of the money. So here's how we can overcome this type of belief system and the hurdles that are coming with our money today. Okay. Hey, Sean, welcome in. Happy Tuesday, right? You gotta fix your cash flow system first. Fix your cash flow system first. I know, y'all. I know people only want to hear from me talk about crypto, Leona, talk about crypto. But you know what? In me talking to people about cryptocurrency, I have heard it so many times. Folks' money is not straight in order for them to even invest. I got it. XRP may be less than $2 today. I understand that H bar is less than $1, less than 50 cents. I understand all of these things. But again, if your money is not right, when you do see gains, you're not going to properly manage those gains. I'm telling you, been there, done that, had to learn the hard way. Okay. Heard too many people doing the same thing and they haven't learned their lessons yet. No TikTok today. I put it out 2 days in a row for them on TikTok to let them know I'm not doing crypto one-on-one today. So yeah. So the third one is, as far as the false beliefs, is financial success requires perfect timing. Now, I hear this a lot. Well, I'll get started when, I'll buy when, I'll do this when, and when never comes, because it's another excuse. I heard this some years back. This is back when I was in network marketing and everything. And but this young man, he's younger than me. He said something that just blew my mind. He said, everybody has an excuse. Some of them may actually be valid. He said, but unfortunately, those excuses leave you broke. And I told myself, Leona, you do things happen in life that sometimes you cannot, you have to just work through it, and you have to take that L, or you have to just say, hey, look, I'm not doing this today because this is a priority. I'm addressing this life situation, whatever it is. This is a priority. Yes. But just know that these things that you want to do, or you said you're going to do, they're still waiting for you. So what can help us is being consistent. If we say that we want to learn about an asset class, if we say we want to start investing in cryptocurrency, if we say we want to start investing in the stock market, well, one way to start is by opening an account. You don't know which account to open? Then go to the websites. Google is your friend when used properly. Okay. Use those tools to help you to research. So that way, if you say, hey, I don't have the money to pay people to for me to be able to skip a couple of steps because those were mistakes that they made, they don't want me to make those mistakes. Well, maybe I don't have the money right now to pay this person and that person. That's fine. Get on Google, y'all, and then research. the different stock brokerage that are reputable companies today in the United States, for my people who live in the United States. If you want to learn about the different crypto exchanges, which one works for me? Well, you need to start with, hey, which crypto exchanges can I use in the state that I'm in? And put your state. Put that in Google. Then go research it. That's it. That's all. Now, once you do that, open up an account. I didn't say you have to put any money in yet. I just said open up an account. All right. And then when you're ready to put money in, whatever that amount is, remember what I said in the false belief number 1, where you need a lot of money to start investing. That's not true. So if you have $5 today, or if you're going to have $10 by the end of the week, well, guess what? By the end of the week, you should be able to deposit that $5, $10, $20, $100, $500, whatever it's going to be. And then you're going to set up a schedule based on how often you get paid plus your budget for investing. Now you say, hey, look, every week or every other week or once a month, because I'm on a fixed income, I'm retired, right? I'm retired. I only get paid once a month. So all right, every month on the 5th, I'm depositing money into these accounts. They're coming out of this particular account and they're going into these accounts. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? So the way that you can move over that or overcome this is to take one asset, one asset class, and say, I'm going to invest in that in the month of August, because we're about to be in August. I'm going to invest in that in the month of August. If that's the stock market, okay, cool. Open up your brokerage account. If that's the cryptocurrency market, okay, cool. Open up an account with one of the crypto exchanges that is regulated in your state and available in your state or available in your country. After you've done your research, cool. That's the one I'm going to do. Open up the account, and then in August, deposit the money. The amount does not matter. Everybody got it. The amount does not matter. Okay? So that leads me to what I talked about earlier today on YouTube, one of my shorts, and I talked about the 5 stages. Now, I want to be clear on something. Wealth is what I've learned, especially over the past 5 years of me being a student. Wealth moves through these different stages, okay? We are not going to wake up tomorrow and we're automatically, here. Where, let's say today you're starting at stage 2, and then you're like, well, I'm waking up tomorrow and I'm going to be at stage 5. It doesn't work like that, okay? Because you have to work and build within each one of those stages. And at some point, you're going to want to have mastered that stage. So you never have to fully go back to that one because you've mastered it. You maintain stability, period. That's not an option, right? Or you maintain stability and security. So if anything happens, you definitely will not go back to 2. You'll probably stay at stage 3 for a minute and then go bounce back up to stage 4. Got it? So our wealth is going to move through these 5 stages, okay? Stage 1 is stability. Stage 2 is security. Stage 3 is growth. Stage 4 is where we expand. And then stage 5 is lifestyle. So let's talk about this. So stage 5 is stage 5. Stage 1 is lifestyle, right? I said lifestyle. Stage 1 is stability. Jesus, I'm ready to get to lifestyle, apparently. The purpose of this particular stage, okay, is for us to keep life running with minimal stress. That's what we want. That's exactly what we want. We want to make sure that our cash flow system is on point. We are tracking consistently how much money we have coming in, the frequency in which that money is coming in. I know, I know. The frequency in which that money is coming in, right? And we also are doing a really great job of identifying what's coming out of our accounts and then the frequency in which those things are coming out of our accounts. Okay. And we're comfortable with that. We know this is what's going to happen. Our banks are prepared for it. Our hearts are prepared for it. Our minds are prepared for it. Everybody's prepared. Okay. Another part to this stability stage is we need to make sure that we are stacking our money. We are saving our money in case of unexpected expenses. You lose your job because I just told y'all there's been over 100,000 layoffs. Okay. In this year alone, over 100,000. So if we know that there's been over 100,000 and these large corporations are anticipating more in the remainder of this year, right? So we know that there is a chance if you are a person that is working for a large corporation, you should have your I Got It fund built or you're consistently building it. And I hate to be the person that's gonna rain on your parade because you probably got this trip planned, child. But before the kids go back to school, you like, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put this on my credit card. I'm telling you now, I'm screaming at you. Don't do it. Reconsider. This is not the time, y'all. I'm not trying to be nobody's mama but Laura, but I'm here as a friend, as a concerned citizen, as someone who wants you to win and overcome all the stuff that's going on right now. Y'all, this is not the time to go traveling and going in debt to travel. This is not the time for that. This is the time for you to be reducing your debt as fast as possible, especially if you have what's right here, high interest debt. If you have high interest debt, that should be your focus. Taking a trip to Puerto Rico or Punta Cana, or saying I'm gonna go to Italy and Greece and all of this stuff on your credit card. This is not the season for that. This I Got It fund. Should be your priority. This should be your priority. Eliminating that high interest debt should be your priority. If you were to take a loan out because you're buying property, you're buying a house, okay? If you were, make sure that it's a fixed rate and it's the lowest rate possible. Okay? I understand, y'all, that talking about becoming financially stable is not sexy. It's not exciting. It's not thrilling. Okay? It's not like when we talk about trading or investing in a cryptocurrency market, it doesn't get your blood pumping and you excited and all that stuff. I understand that. I also am aware that stability doesn't make you rich. So this is probably why it's not as exciting to you to talk about. But guess what? You become Ford Tough. Y'all know that commercial in the United States, right? Ford Tough. We built to last. I want you to be built to last. Making sure that you are financially stable and mastering this stage is the way that you can be built Ford Tough. You'll be built to last. Okay? So the way to overcome the nonsense that is preventing, or the noise that is possibly preventing you from being stable financially, the way for us to overcome that, I want you to automate your weekly or bi-weekly or once a month. Okay, I want you to automate the money going into your I Got It fund. If you're gonna do that, or if you're already doing that, I need you to put me in the chat right now. Put me in the chat right now. If you're going to do this, say, you know what, I didn't automate it. I've been just sending it on my own when I think about it. Maybe you have a calendar reminder to tell you to do it, whatever. But you've been manually doing it. If you're like, I'm going to go from manually putting the money into my I Got It fund to automating it and having it automatically draft from your account and go straight to your I Got It fund, whichever high yield savings account you're using for that, I want you to put me in the chat real quick. Okay? Put me in the chat real quick. Okay, let's go. That's right. So this is our first step. Now, you can move on to the second stage, which is security. Okay? You can move on to the second stage Even if you don't have a minimum of 6 months in your I got it fund. But the fact that you have automated it and you allow it to just continue to do it every single week, bi-weekly, every month, whatever, okay? And you have a plan that you are consistently executing to reduce that high interest debt that you may have, you can now start protecting what you're building in stage 2. Okay? So you haven't mastered the first stage yet, all right? But you have a plan in place and you're going to execute it. And now you can move on to stage 2. All right? So stage 2 is security. This is where we protect what we're building. So when we're building that I got it fund and we say we want to have 6 months of our expenses, monthly expenses saved in a high yield savings account, okay? Well, guess what? When the money is in that account, do you have a beneficiary assigned to it? Yes or no? In the chat. Do you have a beneficiary assigned to your bank accounts? Yes or no in the chat. Do you have beneficiaries assigned to your stock brokerage accounts? Yes or no in the chat. I'm pretty certain, and I know somebody's not going to put, no in the chat because they're going to feel like, oh, shoot, I'm wrong. It's okay. But see, now today, that's something you should do. So guess what? You get it done. You can do that on your phone, y'all. Same thing with making sure that you have the appropriate insurance. Now, I already know, ooh, don't come for me. I already know. People are like, insurance is a scam. Everything is a scam, y'all. We live in a capitalistic society. This is truth be told. We live in a capitalistic society. So the people with the most wealth, they're going to, continue to amass more wealth. The people who don't have it, they're the ones that suffer the most. We know that, okay? We're well aware that you pay a whole lot into these insurance policies, into the auto insurance and all of these things, and you may not use it that year, and you paid some thousands into this thing. I am well aware, but here's what I want you to keep in mind. Would you rather have it and not need it, or need it and not have it? I'm telling you now, it will hurt you more if you need that insurance, that auto insurance, and you don't have it. You have an accident and the car is totaled out. You hit the person. Now what? Okay? So making sure that you get the right insurance for whatever is going on. Life insurance, Jesus. I know the only reason why I had life insurance in the first place was because I was in the Army. Okay? The Army made sure that, listen, you go get some insurance. We don't care what the amount is, but you are required to have some insurance. So if something goes down, nobody can blame us. Hey, listen, we got the paperwork. She signed it. If it's $50,000, that's what you get. Okay? If it's $250K, that's what you get. Yeah. We're not about to be responsible for no. You're gonna get some type of insurance today, right? That is a requirement. When I was in the Army, y'all, when in the Army, and this is why I'm about to go in about this beneficiary. When in the Army, I heard this too many times. It was so irritating and actually very frustrating as a leader. When you tell people you're going to war, we are not all guaranteed to come back together in one piece, alive and well, okay? As well as can be, I should say. All right? Some of us may not make it. None of us are God. So we don't know who that some will be. So it is best for you to make sure that your insurance is updated. What do you mean, Sarge? That means making sure that you have the appropriate amount and your beneficiaries are updated. If you just got divorced and you don't want your ex-wife having access to your life insurance and you want your baby mama or your girlfriend or whoever to get the money, you need to take your ex-wife off and put that new person on. I'm saying this to you guys right now. Every time I do this, I say the same thing. Because unfortunately, those soldiers would get this talk every time before we would go on deployment to Iraq. Some people went to Afghanistan and things of that nature. You still had the knuckleheads that did not do it. And unfortunately for them, because they did not listen and did not execute, their ex-wife got the money, and the new wife with the newborn baby did not get the money that they needed. So I'm asking you, I'm not asking, I'm telling you, update your beneficiary on your life insurance. If you're like, I'm not getting life insurance because, so you are pretty much telling the people that you love, hey, I want you to struggle. When I'm gone, I want you to struggle. I want you to have to go through all kind of hoops and everything to get access to my money that's in my bank account, that's in my stock brokerage account, because I'm too lazy to put your name on these accounts. So if something, God forbid, happened to me tonight, you don't have to wait to go to the bank account or to the bank and ask them for that. No, your name is on there. You have access to it. When it comes to life insurance, your name is on there. You will be able to handle everything pertaining to my burial. And of course, having the money to come to whatever's remaining that's coming to you, you got it. And you can pay off any debt that I may have. So having the proper insurance is part of securing and protecting what you are building. Updating your beneficiaries, that's part of securing and protecting the wealth that you're building. Getting at a bare minimum a will. Write it down. Get it notarized. Okay, cool. Type it out. Get it notarized. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, at a bare minimum, a will. If you're like, I can't do the trust right now, or I don't want to do the trust right now because I heard that, that's fine. At a bare minimum, will. As a matter of fact, no. Not even bare minimum, will. Bare minimum, have a power of attorney. So if for whatever reason you become incapacitated, meaning you cannot speak for yourself, you cannot take care of yourself, you are hospitalized, and you need someone in your family to take care of some of the things so that way your house does not just go into foreclosure, your bills are still getting paid, because everyone is expecting you to have the type of recovery that you want and everybody wants. They want that miraculous recovery. Okay, cool. Well, you need to at least have a power of attorney. That's the bare minimum. Second part to that bare minimum is having a will. Everybody got it. Okay? Trust, I got it. Research, get with the estate planner, get with a lawyer that does this consistently. Have that conversation. You can talk about pricing and all that stuff later. But at a bare minimum, power of attorney, and then your will. Got it? Now, the third or the last part to this particular stage, y'all, is risk awareness. This is another thing for my people. And I don't know if Sean is still on YouTube, but in the military, in the Army for sure, we always plan to mitigate or lower any risk pertaining to a mission that we were about to embark on. Whether that's training exercises, real life deployed missions, whatever. We had to make sure we were aware of the risks associated with completing that particular task. When it comes to us as individuals, and we say that we want to be the change agent in our family, if we see that the lack of risk awareness got our family into the position that they're in today, well, let me be the one, since I said I'm the change agent, let me be the one to take into account the risk associated with putting my money into this particular bank account, putting my money into this particular stock brokerage account, putting my money into this particular crypto exchange, or buying this crypto exchange, buying this particular cryptocurrency. We need to know the risk before we do it, and how can we mitigate, how can we lower the risk attached to that? Example, you say you want to invest in cryptocurrency, but you have, let's say, $50 each month that you can put into it. That $50 for you is not going to cause your lights to get cut off. It's not going to cause you to have your car repossessed, house foreclosure, none of that. It's $50. If you didn't put it into the cryptocurrency market, more than likely you were going to go blow it at Starbucks or buying you some alcohol or, whatever your vice may be. Okay? So that $50, you're cool with putting that $50 in the market because you know that if you didn't, it would have been blown away anyway. It's not going to impact your day-to-day life and prevent you from living if you put that $50 into the market. That's what I'm talking about. On top of that, we need to make sure that we know, hey, listen, I'm putting this money in here. I can afford to lose it. It's not impacting my life in any way, right? On top of it, I need to know if when I put this money in here, what is the likelihood of me losing the bulk of it? Let's say putting it into the crypto exchange. Well, the likelihood of me losing it depends on the level of security that that crypto exchange has. Do they have a history of getting hacked? Yes or no? If they don't have a history of getting hacked, okay, well, the likelihood is a little bit lower, right? Whereas if you say, hey, I'm putting it into a private wallet of mine that is not online, now my risk has done what? It's lowered even more because only I have access to said money. Got it? So when we talk about security, I see you, Sean. So when we talk about security, we need to make sure that we have the appropriate insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, health insurance, whatever else insurance out there. We need to have all of that. We need to make sure we're consistently updating our beneficiaries if things change. And we need to practice or at least get started on our estate structure, starting with a power of attorney if you don't have it. I'm bringing it up because in my own family, that has been a battle because people waited until the individual in my family could no longer mentally be competent enough to take care of themselves. So now their kids are left to handle everything financially. But guess what? When they were warned that, hey, something's not right, y'all need to start doing X, Y, and Z, they ignored it. No one had a power of attorney. And now it's a battle with the state. So at least, y'all, power of attorney. Okay, if you love your people, don't leave them out there to have to fight the state to take care of you. Get the power of attorney at a bare minimum, and then also get that will. And then you can work on building on that trust down the line because you're going to have the money, you're going to have the relationships, you're going to be able to have the communication and understanding, the appropriate paperwork, all of that stuff down the line. But at a bare minimum, power of attorney, and then your will. Okay? So listen, again, I understand. Talking about security, it ain't sexy. It's probably not exciting, okay? But you know what? When you master this stage, when there is a life event that happens, it's not going to erase all the time and effort that you put in to build the wealth that you have. So one event, one life event, you lose your job, you have a medical emergency, whatever, that thing is not going to wipe out all those years of work. Okay? So I'm giving you one step in this particular stage to execute today if you have not done it yet. All right? I need you to go to your banks, and I'm talking about you go to the banking app, okay? Go to your banks, identify your beneficiaries. Go to your stock brokerages. Okay? If you have stock brokerage accounts open, name your beneficiaries. If you have life insurance and you only have one beneficiary, I am going to strongly suggest that you have a contingent beneficiary as well. So you have a primary and then a contingent. Okay? Cool. All of that is good. So that is your assignment. That is your step to overcome the challenge when it comes to security. Okay. Third stage is where we are going to grow with education. So educated growth. This particular stage is where we intentionally study to make our money work for us, not as an entrepreneur yet, as an investor. Why? Because number one, not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. Okay, some of us we just want people to tell us what to do, and we can go home and chill with our families. Some people do not want the type of responsibility that comes with being an entrepreneur. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to knock you. I'm just saying this is why the third stage is the third stage, because we want to. If you're working a job, your money can still work for you. Okay. So these are examples. I am not telling anyone to invest in anything because legally I cannot do that at this time. So everything that you see on this particular screen is a suggestion for you to research. Keyword is research. You, not Leona, you research. And if you find that these particular index funds, these particular ETFs, stocks, treasury instruments, whatever, if you find that these are up your alley, they fit your budget, they fit your desire, like, oh yeah, I want to invest in this. Like, it makes sense. You see 5 to 10 years from now, this is something that can continue to grow. Then and only then do you invest because you've done the research. Okay? Y'all, when we are properly educated, it's going to reduce our emotional decision making in the market, especially when it comes to our money. We are less likely to make a rash emotional decision when we are properly educated on that asset or asset class. You're less likely to feel that fear of missing out. You're less likely to panic sell. I didn't say you won't ever. I said you're less likely. Okay? You're less likely. So when you research these things, VOO, SPY, you may look at like, oh, but it's cost so much money. That's why I put the ETFs here. So if you can't afford, or you're like, hey, I don't want to pay $600, for one share of SPY, well, you can get the SPYG. Okay? That's the growth S&P 500 ETF. Is less than $600. It's like 115, 120, something like that. Okay? There you go. All right. So education for us reduces that emotional volatility that people, especially as beginners, you experience. All right. So the way for us to overcome that financial hurdle is to find or pick one of these, whether it's an index fund, ETF, stock, whatever. Pick one and learn about it. I need you to do a real deal deep dive research. Okay? Go to the website. Go to Yahoo Finance. Go to, if it's a cryptocurrency, go to their CoinGecko or Coin Market Cap. Click on that particular cryptocurrency, and then they have the websites and white papers and discords and all kind of information. Go to all of that stuff and see if this is something for you. If it's not, move on. But I want you to do that before next week, before next Tuesday, when I'm back for Crypto 101, right? Before next Tuesday, I want you to say, Leona, I picked whichever one of these, and I did a deep dive on it, and here's what I found. I want to hear that. I want to hear that. So once you are consistent with investing after you've done your research, Right now, you can start moving on to the fourth stage, which is expand. So the purpose of this stage is to help us to increase our income and our money making skills. I just showed y'all earlier how AI is taking a lot of jobs. Over 100,000 jobs have been nixed because of AI in 2026. So what we want to do is position ourselves to the best of our ability to develop AI resistant skills. Now, someone may ask, well, what's an AI resistant skill? I'm going to tell y'all right now, AI cannot compete with human to human interaction. There are certain things that another human being needs to hear, feel, see, whatever from the other human being. A robot or AI technology cannot replace that. Y'all know there's energy, right? We emit this energy to one another. We do that through the phone. We do that through Zoom. We're able to do that through YouTube and these social media platforms. We're able to do that in person. You can feel a person's intention. You can't feel AI's intention. You can't feel if AI is telling you the truth about a matter or not, because all you're doing is breeding information. Got it? So there are certain things that as a human being we need. I want you as an individual to research that. Find that thing. Okay? Find that thing. Okay? We want to attempt to the best of our ability to improve, to increase our earning power. 20% is the floor. If you can't get to 20% yet, take what you can get. But your floor should ultimately be 20%. Okay? Increase your earning power by 20%. Build a side hustle. Y'all, you can do consulting, you can do coaching, even though I personally don't care for that because there's too many coaches out here that really are not coaching because they're not doing what they're telling people to do. But I digress. Okay? You can assist, you can tutor, you can be a content creator, you can do whatever. Whatever you're really, really good at that people always come to you for. Right? Sean said, yeah, that's it. That's sold. Right? But whatever people consistently come to you about, that's the thing that you're really great at. That's the thing that you could potentially monetize. And it doesn't mean that you have to go out here and charge people $5,000. Like, come on now. Like, yeah, could I charge more for what I provide right now? Yeah, I could. But here's for me. The whole reason why I even got into business is because I saw that there was a lot of information I was learning later on in life, in my 30s, right? In my mid 30s, as a matter of fact, that I'm learning that people didn't know and they were older than me. And I'm like, yo, this ain't cool. So guess what? Prosperity Calls was born. So now people can get educated. They can know the stuff that they should know, but they probably weren't in the right circles. They weren't around the people that were doing these things. So, so when you are looking to build that side hustle, I want you to keep in mind, there's a book that we're reading right now. It's called The Black Titan. And it's talking about this gentleman named A.G. Gaston out of Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. Okay. And how he went from being the grandchild of ex-slaves, okay, to becoming a centimillionaire by the time he passed away. And he passed away, I want to say it was early 2000s or late 90s. And he became a centimillionaire. That means that he earned over $100 million, y'all. Over $100 million. So if an individual like that says, hey, the way to build wealth and to build a business that lasts is to find a need and fill it. That's why I led with, if you build a side hustle, make sure it's something that people constantly seek you out for because it's something that they need. They really need that thing from you, and you do it the best. They know you for that. Everybody got it. If y'all still with me in the chat, let me know you still with me, okay? Let me know you still with me because I want to make sure I'm not losing people. All right? I want to make sure I'm not losing people. I got you. I got you. Okay. Okay. So within this stage, what I want people to know, the whole point of all of this is to make sure that we know wealth is going to grow much faster when we have income leverage, okay? So the way for us to overcome the financial hurdles of 2026 right now within our economy, okay? We need to pitch one power. I need you to pitch one paid skill within the next 30 days. So you have, this is the end of July. So you have August to identify one thing that people consistently come to you for. If you're really good, as a matter of fact, let me help you out. If you're really good with saving money, because everybody comes to you and your family to borrow money, right? Guess what you can start doing? Can anybody guess what you can start doing? I'm not saying definitely be a lender, but you can create your own, what's it called? Like the susu or whatever. I don't know if that stuff is legal still, but you can create your own type of community to where you teach them how you're able to save the amount of money that you save to lend out to people. You don't have to charge an arm and a leg. You can just show, hey, listen, boom, this is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't do the susu or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm doing. But you can create your own lane, right? So I want you to pitch one, whatever that thing is that everybody comes to you about. I need you to go ahead and get started. Next 30 days, you have the entire month of August to make it happen. By August 31st, you should have already established this is what I'm going to do as a side hustle or an official business, whether you're creating an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever. I don't care. I ain't talking about that. I need you to focus on what am I really, really great at that everybody comes to me for? And then how do I want to put it together so that way I can monetize it while also keeping it at a rate or price that is competitive, but also reasonable because of the economic times that we're in today, depending on who you're reaching. Okay? Fifth and final stage, y'all. This is lifestyle. Now, this is where everybody wants to be. And I'm saying this because I hear it too much. I've seen it too much. People want to enjoy their life. I hear people say it don't make any sense for me to sit here and do all of this work and I can't take any time to travel. I got it. I shouldn't go into debt to travel, but I only got one life to live. Okay. I hear you. I hear you. You want to have fun. You want to travel. You want to do all these things. You want to feel like you're free. But guess what? You're not free if you're sitting here with a ton of high interest debt hanging over your head. If your credit card is maxed out. If you have a consistent rolling balance. Okay? Especially if that rolling balance is in the tens of thousands. Dog, what are you doing? This is not the time to be partying and going to Cabo and going to all of these different countries because you want to go to the beach. This is not the time for that. I love you. I know it may not sound good. It may make you cringe. It may be pissing you off right now. I want you to be pissed off because I want you to live a better life. I want you to be able to get to my age or older and say, you know what? 2026, I was doing these things. And Leona got on me, child, through this Zoom or through YouTube, whichever platform you're watching me at, right? Leona got on me so bad. And I just was like, you know what? I do have to do something different. And I did it. And man, I'm so glad today I have this amount of money stored up in my I Got It fund. My portfolio is bussing. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to travel when I want to travel. I still work the job, but guess what? It's a job that I enjoy working. and my side hustle is doing what my side hustle is supposed to do. That's what I want to be able to hear. 5 years from now, not even 5 years from now, let's say within the next year to 3 years, you're like, man, I made the shift in 2026 and I stopped focusing on right now and I appreciate it. I begin to appreciate something called delayed gratification. Oh, Lord. Folks don't like to hear that term no more. I don't know what's going on. Us 80s and before babies, like we understood delayed gratification. That was the name of the game. We didn't have access to all of this stuff, right? Now, because everything is so easily accessible, we just automatically assume we should go from stage one, that's stability, right? And automatically we're supposed to be traveling in the world. We went to school, we're supposed to get that job. Never mind that there are hundreds of thousands of other, 21, 23, 24-year-olds competing for that job because they went to school too. Okay? I know we want to get to this part. I know we want to be able to live the life that you see on social media, that you see on these movies, right? I got it. But see, the reason why this particular stage is last is because at this point, when you get to stage 5, it's going to be sustainable because you're financially stable. You're financially secure. You are continuing to get educated on the different asset classes that you're investing in. You have a side hustle, or now you have a legit business that is creating revenue for you to be able to build more and more and more and make more and more and more, invest more and more and more, help more people, all of this stuff. So now you can take the time to enjoy life. Okay? The step to overcoming the challenges, the financial hurdles that prevent you from getting to stage 5 and doing it debt free or debt minimal, right? Super minimal, especially no high interest debt, right? The step to do that, I know y'all don't like this word, boy. When I say this word on TikTok, they be gone. So I don't know. Let's see. Those of y'all that's tuned in with me from TikTok, okay, right? But that budget, I need you to put in your budget, okay? One guilt-free purchase, okay? That could be once a month. I've budgeted to be able to buy this thing, okay? Without debt. That's right. Sean put in there. Budget, that's the question mark. Yep, that's the word folks don't like. Oh, Jesus. Don't mention budget. They disappear. They like a ghost. They out of here. Okay? But I want you to do that. I want you to budget in that one thing. I used to have a budget, and I thank God I have been delivered. Okay? I used to budget in my Starbucks runs because I ended up budgeting it in because you know how you had a gift card or whatever. And so I was putting money on there just every week. I put money. And by the end of, I can't remember what money it was, y'all. Oh my God. I looked and I said, where did all my money go? And I went to my bank statement and I saw that Starbucks, 25 here, 50 here, 25, 50, 30. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe, I'm not going to tell y'all the amount that I spent that month because it's embarrassing. I was like, why the heck you spend so much? I told this to myself, why did you spend so much on Starbucks? That's ridiculous. In a month. That's money that could have been invested. Right? So I'm saying all that to say, when I recognized that, okay, then I said, okay, I'm going to give myself a monthly budget. So I went from like, I think it was $200 a month of Starbucks. I know that's still probably, y'all probably like $200. $200. Yes, I went from $200 of a budget, and then I said, okay, 200 is too much, Leona. You still don't need to spend $200 in Starbucks. So let's bring it down to 100. Now I know somebody's probably going to be like, $100? What's a Starbucks? Don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me. I'm just telling my truth. All right. So I went from 200 to 100. And when I did the fast, the liquid fast that started in the end of April, right? I did that for 40 days. I didn't have any Starbucks for 40 days. Well, when my fast was over, I was like, I've been doing so good. Why go back? So I haven't had Starbucks since the end of April of this year. So that guess what that did? That saved me $100 every single month. Okay. And now that $100 can go to what? My investments. Because now it's not, I don't have a craving for it. It's not a necessity in my head anymore because I've gone so long without it. I'm like, I'm good. Okay. So I want you to budget the one guilt-free purchase. That could be once per month or once per quarter or something. Okay. Just one. Don't try to overdo it and be like, I'm gonna do 20. No. Let's start small. Okay. This is how we get to where we want to be. All right. So now that we've gone over those 5 stages, y'all, I want to talk about some of your non-negotiables. Before you start investing in any of these markets, you need to learn a couple of things. Okay. If you're going to invest in real estate, you need to understand the market cycles, period, point blank. Okay. I was just watching EYL, Earn Your Leisure, and they had MG, the mortgage guy, on, and they were like, "Are we, in a housing recession, and is the housing market about to crash, and all of these things?" And he started talking about market cycles, and he said these are some of the things that we typically look for to tell us, hey, if we're heading in that direction or not, whatever. Okay, so number one. Real estate, learn market cycles. If you're going to invest in the stock market, you need to learn valuation basics. Warren Buffett is huge on this. Okay. Crypto, you need to understand blockchain technology, custody, private custody, public custody, all of these things. Okay. And if you are saying, hey, I want to build my side hustle, I want to have my own little business, I want to do a little something. Okay. That's cool. You need to learn cash flow modeling. And this is just the beginning. This is not the only thing. This is just the beginning. Something that I believe strongly based on my own personal experience as well as in my communication with others. I personally believe Leona's opinion is that financial literacy is a systemic problem. Okay, it's a systemic failure. Our governments know that we need to be better educated when it comes to finances before you become an adult. They know this and they still don't do this. This is not a requirement. Got it? Another one, I was watching Edwards Economics here on YouTube. For my people who are watching me on YouTube, right? I was watching Edwards Economics on YouTube, and he was talking about how financial literacy has gone down since in certain states, financial literacy started being taught in middle schools, right? Middle school and high school. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why is the number going down? But it's again, you're not being taught, and I'm not saying anything that you don't know. So more than likely, you're gonna be like, yeah, Leona, you're right. Or I mean, if you want to disagree, you can disagree. I don't care. I still feel the way I feel based on my personal experience. But we're not being taught in our schools. We're not being taught to be independent thinkers, number one. We're not being taught to be self-sufficient financially. We're not being taught, things that could position us in a higher, light or a better position in general. We're not being set up for success with school. We're being taught to be part of the machine. Go to school, get this job, work for 40 plus years, get a retirement, and then you're going to get half or less than half of what you made while you were working, plus the Social Security, which possibly won't be available by the time Gen Zs need it, or shoot, they talking about millennials like myself, so I don't know, we'll see. That might not even be available. So my thing is, why are we not taking this more serious if the writing is supposedly on the wall? This is why us having these type of conversations, getting onto YouTube, learning from different individuals in the finance space, staying educated or staying uneducated is a choice in 2026. Staying uneducated is a choice in 2026. If you are out of high school, you are an adult. If you are 21 and over, so more than likely you had time to go to college. Either you went or you couldn't afford it, or you chose that college is not the route for you. Nonetheless, you are an adult. If you stay uneducated as an adult, it is a choice. You are choosing to be ignorant of the economic the impact of our current economic situation here in the United States. That is a choice. You are choosing to be a victim. We will not be victims over here. We're going to get educated. We're going to share information. If Sean knows something I don't know, guess what? She's going to make sure I'm good to go. If Tiffany knows something I don't know, she's going to make sure I know. If Mr. William knows something that I don't know, he's going to make sure I know. Just like I'm doing this today, hosting this webinar, streaming it live on YouTube so people can watch it on YouTube. They can watch the playback for a specific amount of time. Okay, so those are your non-negotiables. Now, for my people who always tune in for cryptocurrency, you met me through Crypto One-on-One, more than likely either on YouTube or on TikTok, right? I want you to know right now, regulatory clarity is still evolving. We know that, okay? We've been talking about the Clarity Act, the headlines that have come from the Clarity Act, and how it has not moved forward at this time, okay? We understand that policy structure is not fully finalized. So what that's going to mean for us as investors, okay? Institutional access is going to continue to grow. The more regulation there is, the more confident these big companies are, the more likely they're going to start investing. Okay? Reporting requirements may expand as well. The more regulation you have, guess what? The more they're going to want to be all up in your business. That's just what it is. Okay? So before you invest in cryptocurrency, crypto should be an asset you understand or you're beginning to understand. All right? It should be a reasonable portion of your portfolio according to your overall investment plan and goals for your investments. All right? I want you to think about this before you put a dime, a dollar, whatever into the cryptocurrency market. I want you to think about, am I investing in cryptocurrency because I understand the technology and I want to make some money, right? Or I'm only here for the money because I heard that this particular cryptocurrency is about to blow up your weight and I'm about to make 10 stacks real quick. If your answer is the latter, this is not the place for you. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're probably going to get punched in the face. Not literally, okay? Not literally. But the cryptocurrency market is not for the people who come over here. If you have a gambling tendency, it's not going to be for you. I'm telling you now. Please save yourself some heartache. Save yourself some pain. Okay? So we're almost done, y'all. I want you to imagine, okay, over the next 90 days, when you take these steps, these small steps, and you're consistent every single week, every other week, every single month, you're consistent with executing on your plans, right? You could potentially see in the next 90 days, you start to see your debt, okay? It's going down. It's going down. Whether that's 1%, 3%, whatever, it's going down. You get that notification. How many of y'all have Credit Karma just to have it, right? If you have Credit Karma gives you a message like when you do good with reducing your debt, it sends you a message to your phone and say, woohoo, your debt has decreased by such and such percent or something like that, right? I'm paraphrasing, but they send you a message to congratulate you. That's a win. So imagine you do this work for the next 90 days. You see your debt starting to go down. You see your I Got It fund getting bigger and bigger. Even if it's $5 at a time, so what? That 5 is now 10. That 10 is now 20. That 20 is now 50. That 50 is now 100. Come on now. You see your investing plan, you working that plan. You're now more confident in your financial decisions. You're less emotional when you read a headline. When you see the price of something going down, you're less emotional. That's where you could be in the next 90 days. That's where you can be in the next 90 days. Okay? So there's something I have. It's a challenge. All right. I did it. That's why I created it. I did it. That's why I created it. Y'all, in 2020, I started my business. I'm gonna just run through this real fast, okay? In 2020, I started my business because I said, hey, look, I want to make sure people know what I'm knowing. Like, as I'm learning this stuff and I'm applying it and I'm getting these resources, I need to make sure people know, you know. So I started my business in July 2020. Okay. What I did not know was that, for one, I didn't understand credit, and I wasn't really great, or I didn't have the idea of like how to properly use a credit card. Let me be clear on that. So I had a business credit card and I had a personal credit card, and I was using both of those to build my business. So I'm going to these different events because the people with millions of dollars are saying you need to go to these events. You need to be networking. You need to do this. You need to spend money on ads. You need to all of this stuff. So I had money just going and going and going. Y'all, by the time 2021 hit, I had accumulated over $40,000 of debt, personal debt, not me and my husband. No, personal debt. I did it with my personal credit card and my business credit card because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. All I was doing was what the people were telling me to do. And yo, like when Sean put in the chat saying that money adds up quick, it adds up quick. So 2021, I realized towards the end of 2021, I realized, oh my gosh, how did I get this much debt on these different credit cards? And I had a loan, right? So 2021, going to 2022, I'm like, yo, like I got to do something. I got to figure something out. So 2022, I started learning more about credit, how to reduce my debt. I activated a plan, a debt reduction plan, and everything, and I was super strict on it. Now, did I take some time to travel and everything? Yes, I did, but the bulk of my money went to debt reduction. Kid you not. All right. That's how I created this system. So I was able to reduce that over 40,000 of personal debt down to, I think it was like 10, 15K or something like that by 2025. So it took me 3 years because I'm investing too, right? Remember, I'm investing too. I'm running a business still. So I still have to do all of these things. So it took me from 2022 to 2025 to reduce that debt from 40K to 10 to 15, somewhere in there, right? And then I ultimately was able to like nix the rest of it because I had came into some money, right? Why am I sharing that? This 90-day financial reset challenge is not something I just said, ooh, this sounds good. No, it's the stuff that Leona did. It took me longer to get the results that I wanted because I was figuring stuff out on my own. Okay. So what I did was I put it into a system so that way week by week, you know what you're doing. For week 1, I'm doing this. Week 2, I'm doing this. Week 3, I'm doing this. This is what I'm working on to reduce my debt, to increase my buffer, to build up my I got it fund, all of these things, right? So this system is designed to help you to take control of your cash flow, to eliminate that high interest debt much faster than what you've probably been accustomed to. Build your I got it fund, develop more disciplined investing habits when that time comes for you, but ultimately to create a repeatable money system. So if you were to find yourself in the position again, all you do is just rinse and repeat with this system. Okay. So you can scan this QR code. If you can't scan it because you're not watching me on TV on YouTube, and of course, right here in the Zoom, the link is down here at the bottom. As a matter of fact, hold on, let me put this in the chat for y'all real quick. Real quick, let me put this in the chat for y'all so that way you good. Oops. Prosperity calls. There you go. All right. Cool. So now y'all got that. Bam. Okay. So this can be done at any time. You have full access to all the information. Okay. These are the things that you're going to receive. You're going to receive a financial field manual. This is your step-by-step guide. Okay. Again, it's broken down by the week when it comes to that 90-day reset, right? It's broken down by the week. You get a cash flow and budget system. You are going to get at the examples of your debt reduction strategies. You're going to personalize them for yourself, but you get the examples. You're going to be able to get your I Got It fund builder, okay? Investment readiness training, as well as accountability and progress checkpoints. All right. So that is going to be through email as well as text messages. If you sign up for the text message, you'll get text messages as well. And you'll have the opportunity to get on Zoom with me. Okay. You'll have the opportunity to get on Zoom with me. So that way we can do a little bit of looking to see how your progress is going. Okay. So in 2026, what we want to do is change the way we think about money, the way that we feel about money. Okay. We want to become more financially mature, especially in times like this. So what that looks like is making sure that we have a reserve of cash on hand. That could be in an account, that could be in a safe in our home or in a location that we want it to be at, whatever it may be. That looks like strategic investing, consistent income growth, okay? And asset education. We will stay students, period. No matter the year, no matter the month, no matter the day, we will stay students, okay? I've been reading and hearing this on different news outlets, and they're talking about this great wealth transfer, the amount of money that's going to be transferred from the boomers, right? The boomers to the Gen X's, the boomers to the millennials. Okay. The amount of money is in the trillions. Well, guess what? That money will only be transferred to the hands of the disciplined, persistent, committed individual. If you lack patience, if you have a gambling tendency or habit, if you lack financial literacy, that money is going to skip straight from you to the person that is a student, that's disciplined, that's patient, that's persistent, that's committed to excelling financially. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I want you to be the person where that money gets transferred into your hands. Okay? So your next steps within this year, your next steps, okay? I want you to ask yourself these questions. I want you to answer them honestly. We talked about the 5 stages. Which stage are you currently in today? Go ahead and type it in the chat if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, that's okay, okay? But if you're comfortable with typing the stage that you're in, go ahead and type it in the chat. If it's a 1, 2, or 3, then you already know what you need to work on to get to the next level, right? That 90-day financial reset challenge is going to help you to get to the next level. Okay. So what stage am I currently in? Answer that honestly. Then what is one action I can take within the next 30 days? I've given you some things. But if you're like, nah, Leona, I'm an overachiever now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm going to do those things, but I'm also going to do a little sprinkle. I'm going to add something else. Okay, cool. So what is that extra thing that you're going to do? What is it? Write it down. Don't think about it. Write it down. Write down your plan or type it out and then sign and date it. Okay? What asset class do I need to understand better? Okay? Where have I been reacting instead of strategizing? Do I need help? Do I need outside help? My bad. With any of the above, any of those things above. It's okay to ask for help. I know coming from a Virgo, me sitting here saying it's okay to ask for help, child. It took me so long to ask for help. Y'all see how I said it took me how many years to finally reduce that debt? How long did it take me to start being a better investor because I was doing it on my own? Before I asked for help, geez. Okay. So I understand it's hard to ask for help, but I'm telling you now, that is going to be your saving grace when you go to the right person. That's the key. When you go to the right person, okay? So I want you to control how your financial future turns out. I want you in the next 3 to 5 years to be like, yes, I did this in 2026 and it was the best decision of my life. I'm so glad that I did not let my age or my situation at the time prevent me from making the adjustments in 2026. It wasn't big, it was a little bit, but I kept going. In 2027, I was able to do more. 2028, I was able to do more. Right? I want to be able to hear that. Okay. So, does anyone have any questions? This is the time to type it in the chat. If you have any questions, please type it in the chat. One of the things I'm going to do is at this time, while you all are considering typing in the chat, I'm going to ask that if you are watching this on YouTube, if you haven't shared it with anyone, I want you to share it, okay? Go ahead and share it. Give the thumbs up if you haven't done that yet. Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and then also hit that notification bell if you have not done so yet. For those of you here on the Zoom, okay? If you have not shared this information out, you can always go to the YouTube channel Prosperity Calls on YouTube. I would say that you share this with the person in your family, a friend, whoever you care about. Share this with them, especially when you're having those conversations and you can hear that they need some help with their finances, getting their finances in order. Share this with them. Okay. Now, for my people who are wondering, okay, well, how much is that 90-day financial reset challenge? Because I get asked this pretty often, but that is $39. Now, I know somebody's like, that's it. Yes, that's it. Why do I need to charge you a whole bunch for you to feel like it's going to be worth it? Because if I charge you more, right, it's worth way more than 39. But if I charge you that, then you're going to say, see, folks sit here and say it's that easy to do this, but then they want to charge your arm and a leg to be able to get access to the information. I'm giving you access to the information for a trip to Chick-fil-A for a family of 3. There you go. You go to Chick-fil-A, family of 3, that's how much you're going to pay. So instead of going to Chick-fil-A, instead of going to Popeyes, instead of going to wherever, you can spend that $39 to make sure over the next 90 days, guess what? I'm getting my stuff in order. And by the end of these 90 days, I should see some improvement in my budget. I should see some improvement in my bank accounts. I should see some improvement in my investings. I should see some improvement in my debt. Like the debt is gone now. I should see some type of improvement. For $39, absolutely. You know what I want from you? Okay? You know what I want most from you? What I want most from you is to hear that, man, it worked, Leona. I worked it and it sure enough worked, Leona. That's what I want. That $39 is just a way to say, all right, pay something. Because I know when people give out information for free, oftentimes free doesn't do anything. It don't move people. But if you have to pay something, you're more likely to execute. Not 100%, but you're a bit more likely to execute. So $39, that's it, that's all. You have access to it forever. Okay? You have access to it forever. So if you're like, you know what, Leona, yeah, that's for me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. $39, that's nothing. That's my Starbucks run. Right? That's my Starbucks run. Go ahead, scan the QR code if you're watching me on your TV, on YouTube. For those of y'all in the chat here on Zoom, it's in the chat right now. So you can go ahead and click that and then get started, okay? You can start today. We're at the end of July. We're at the end of July. So that means August, September, October, the start of the fourth quarter, okay? Well, that final month of the first quarter, the first month of the fourth quarter, by the end of that time, you should see some massive improvement. As long as you do it. Because again, I did it for myself. And this is through trial and error, figuring it out. So hopefully you have quicker results than I had. All right, so you can start your reset today, grabbing that financial field manual, doing that 90-day financial framework where it breaks it down week by week, getting into that debt and cash flow strategy. Okay. And then, of course, continue investment readiness education because you will get some additional information. All right. So that's it. That's all. If you enjoyed yourself, let me know in the chat. If you are sharing this with someone, let me know in the chat. If you have signed up, if you're like, oh, no, I already clicked the link, let me know in the chat so that way I can celebrate you and let you know that it's going to be all right. Okay. It's going to be all right. Your next 90 days is going to look a lot different from July 28, 2026. I'm telling you that right now. Hey, I see you, Mr. William. Let's go. Let's go. I love it. I love it. So that's it, y'all. That's all I have. I hope that everyone has a really great evening. If you were expecting Crypto 101, I know we'll be back on Friday. Okay. This will be up on YouTube for possibly the next 48 hours. So y'all have 48 hours to watch the replay, take notes if you didn't take notes. And then also you have 48 hours to share it before it is removed. Okay. So that's it. That's all I have. Y'all have a great one. Okay, everybody have a great one, and I will see y'all on the next one, which will be, I think it's like August 11th or something like that. But I'll let y'all know. Okay, y'all have a good one. Bye, y'all.